Namaste, beautiful yogis. Welcome to Ali Kamenova Yoga. I'm Ali, and today we are discussing what is the best fitness approach for aging women, for hormones, for when women want to balance their hormones, younger women that want to be in good hormonal health. What is the best? I've learned quite a bit through the years. This would apply to men as well, maybe with some differences, of course. But I want to, since menopause is such a big word now, that I want to address that. The male kind of hormonal shift happens way slower over a decade, so it's a different situation. For a woman, it's experienced differently. Anyway, so what is the best way to approach fitness? Because right now it's really popular to tell women to get in shape, to lift real heavy, and you see me complaining about it on Instagram because I don't know, I've gotten used to posting on Instagram in the stories, and I don't think it's useful because those stories disappear and it's just literally something I have to rethink and just do short videos for here so that they at least stay. Sometimes I do change my mind about certain topics, but then again, if I'm coming on here, I can explain to you why. Anyways, lifting heavy as a concept is not exactly wrong. I don't mind the idea of a person going to the gym and in linear movement lifting heavy sometimes. If that's 10 to 20% of your workouts, I think it's fine. If you have superb form, you're fine. But the thing is, they're telling this to women that who knows what they have been doing up until now. They might have been doing pilates, they might have been doing hopefully yoga, some yoga. They might have not been very active or just cardio marathons, So you have to look at the person and see if they actually have the capacity to lift really heavy without creating injuries. And linear weightlifting is not very powerful in creating true strength, true functional strength. So here I'll tell you, these are the reasons why I'm not a big fan of it. It's not like you should never do it. I think you shouldn't. If you enjoy it, just do it here and there, but don't rely on it as something that will get you in shape, because it won't. It's just not that type of, I call it square movement. It's just kind of the trajectory of the movements are not very imaginative. They don't involve rotation, they don't involve circular movement, they don't involve spinal twisting, they don't involve upright standing like in a Turkish get-up type of thing. So even though they deal with alignment, which is good, the thing is people do have a dominant side, and when you do a squat bar, you are going to potentially strengthen that side and create further imbalances that you're going to feel later on. So what is the best way of training? I am constantly evolving my teaching style, so there is always new things I'm adding and I'm tripping on. But I think a combination of building strength, doing some impact work. It's very important. If you have started early, don't stop. If you have never done high impact workouts, you can't quite start right away with it, but you could build up to a certain amount of it. It's just something that your body can adapt to over time, but you will have your limitations if you haven't started it early. So impact is a must. Some form of strengthening through functional movement is a must. Lately, I have been absolutely in love with high intensity interval training with my heavyweight, which is my 20-pound kettlebell. I love it. It's like think lunge jumps with 20 pounds. You can't do too many. It depends on the type of jump and how deep you go and all of that. You could only do 4 on each side and you're done, but the strengthening is crazy. Now, I have always liked fluid work. Lately, I have personally been doing more kettlebells, and now I started doing club bells, and I'm going to include them in separate classes so that those of you that want to join me, they can join me. I think they're exceptionally good for rotational circular work, shoulder mobility, balancing the joints, kinesthetic alignment, creating awareness, postural balancing, etc. Now yoga, speaking of posture and balancing, yoga creates amazing postural balance when done correctly. Somatic movement is extremely important. Now it sounds like those are a lot of things to do, but I've kind of taken it upon myself to do the job and do the scheduling and do the exploration. I explore within myself, and certain things click so well with me that I go in that direction. I always want us to develop core. So I have a Pilates program from last summer that was fantastic. No equipment, mostly it was just somatic Pilates type of work, not your classic Pilates. It was somatic Pilates. Now this year I'm more interested in yoga with heavy weights, not in the yoga. So heavyweight intervals within the yoga class. The yoga class are really focused on foot alignment. Like if you don't align your feet, forget everything above them. Within the practice, things are gonna be misaligned. You have to do footwork. And I don't want to sound discouraging if you have feet issues. I don't want to sound that, okay, forget, you're never. Work with your feet. You can create from the condition your feet are in, from there. And you can always improve your feet or how you spark them up. You can improve it. Because I know that when I listen to people that are really oriented towards biomechanics, I find them to be very mechanistic in how they view the body. And sometimes they can be very discouraging because when you work only on bones, you can align bones, but then they're going to misalign again because the fascia is patterned in a certain way. And from there, we're into the next thing I really love. It's fascia work. Fascia work obviously is already something that you access in other workouts. Like in the yoga, in the fluid movement, in the kettlebells, we spark up the fascia, we align the fascia. When we do certain fluid moves, we realign the fascia. I've been working a lot with certain patterns of movement, certain adjustments that really work on the fascia. Stretching also works on the fascia, and it's really powerful. Other smaller categories that you don't have to add daily, besides stretching that I mentioned, is shaking, certain jump work that is lighter jumps without the weights. It's fun, it's applicable, it's useful. It depends on the day. So one thing I don't see menopausal women being advised to do is to mix things up, because it improves your cognition, it improves the way your body ages. It creates body intelligence, and it removes the way conscious movement works, which is my obsession, my passion. Is we move trauma out of the body, because fascia stores the trauma, and we walk around with that trauma stored in the patterns of the body, certain areas being dehydrated. The fascia is dehydrated, it's not flowing, there's no light in it, there are no biophotons in it. When we move that area, we move the emotion that locked it up, and we create alignment in a different way rather than mechanical alignment. I feel that if we only focus on the bones and mechanics, the body will keep going back to the original misalignment or the previous misalignment, because the emotion is not worked out. So I also believe that within physical fitness, we have to put healing in that category. You can't separate those things. Your body is your mind, your body is your emotions. And if you treat them separate, you just take this for your emotions and that for your body, that is not a holistic approach. You have to address your emotions as a part of your movement, and your movement as a healing category to your healing therapy. Is a therapeutic modality that addresses your emotions. your traumas, your patterns, your mental blocks, where you're stuck mentally. So all of these things really come in together in the classes that I like to create. That to me is, I feel that provides value. It gives you fitness, but it gives you also things that go deeper into the layers of the psyche, deeper down into the soul, deeper into the soul, deeper up into the soul. For healing, I believe different ways of approaching it are very important. For example, I've mentioned German new medicine can give you a layer in which you can see things. There is the heart. Anyways, the heart code, I think, the emotion code, it's very similar to German new medicine. It gives you a way of looking at emotions that created certain, through trauma, created certain patterns in the body, certain diseases in the body. So I feel those things are very important. Now, with German new medicine, I've seen people complain about it, that it's very dogmatic and it's treated as end-all be-all. And I believe that is a human personality type that wants the answers to be laid out for them and to think that this is the end answer. And I don't believe there is such thing, because the end answer is within you, and your exploration is the end answer. So those things are just layers. They give you an aspect. It either clicks for you or it doesn't. Flower essence is a beautiful way to treat emotional traumas. Herbal remedies, the light. It was sunset right now. The light is one of the healing things. In general, there are many healing modalities that allow us to really connect deeper. The classes, in general, often focus on what I think is most healing, which is creating trust, faith, and peace. Because we have to be in the state of trusting God, trusting the process of life. So we're not constantly in a fight or flight. We turn on the parasympathetic at night. We rest. And that is, I'll finish it with that. That is the last part of a very important, very well-designed training program, is how you rest and how you sleep. How much you can turn your mind off. So through grounding and sun exposure, it communicates to your brain to rest when appropriate and to sleep deep. The last thing that is not last, but last for this video, will be the food. I find that even if I eat a lot of carbs, sometimes it's not enough for the type of movement I want to have in my day. So recently increased my carbs. I think my carbs must have been around 300 when you put them in chronometer and look at your carbs. Typically mine are from fruit, a little bit from honey. I wasn't suffering, but I increased them recently to over 400, 500 something, and my movement is better, my brain is better, everything is better. I decreased my fat because sugar and fat don't mix very well, so you have to remember that when you're nourishing yourself with fruit, which is sunlight crystallized, you get your essential fats, but not an excess of fat that kind of keeps your blood sugar high. You don't want high blood sugar, you want very steady insulin sensitivity. And that is it, because I think that is a healthy overall program. I'm sure I'm missing a few modalities here in the video, but not in the classes. I'm covering everything. We're doing dumbbells, kettlebells. I will include separate club bell classes for those of you that want to join me. I absolutely encourage you to do so, because it's fantastic. I haven't started them yet. I'm just making the announcement so that you have the preparedness. And from there, the yoga, the stretching, everything counts. All right. And from all of it, to create spatial awareness, body awareness, somatic awareness, kinesthetic intelligence, posture improvement. All right, I will see you. This is it from me. If you have more add-ins, just put them below. Dance, all of those things play a very important, sports play an important role in our mind development, how our mind works as well for, especially the way this is recommended for elderly or aging women or whatever, midlife women or whatever. Changing things up and not doing the same thing, especially in linear fashion, asymmetric. Oh, I really love asymmetric movements, isometric movements, one-sided movements, etc. So all of those things are very important. But, you know, in short, this is it for now.